Hi, I'm back with week 8. Honestly, child, I fought tooth and nail to get here. Um, I feel like I would really love these weeks to take me exactly 1 week, but it don't work that way, and we will get into it. So, week 8, recovering a sense of strength. I was really excited about this chapter at first because I think at the end of my last video, recovering a sense of connection, for week 7, I was thinking, like, okay, in order to maintain this connection that I have to my artistry and my artists, I need to have the strength to keep doing that. Um, and now week 8, recovering a sense of strength. Hey, hey, you. I'm cat sitting right now, and she wants to be all up in my stewed chicken. And girl, the stewed chicken is not for you. So cute though. Little kitty AMSMR. Kitty ASMR. Okay. Girl, you distracted me. You know what? Have a ball. So, um, yeah, at the end of last week, I was like, wow, I really need to keep my connection up with myself and my artistry. I need to make sure I have the strength to do that. And then we go right into week 8. And I think this book does that a lot. Like, what will come up for you as you do the week is definitely like realizations, clarity. And then you go, okay, so the next thing I need to do is this. And then it would be the next chapter. So Julia Cameron is a genius for that. Um, I feel like I was really excited about this week because it's getting into the nitty gritty. It's giving me the answers that I was really hoping to get from this course. Um, and it was a really tough week too. Like, I think in general, like a lot of um interesting and difficult situations were happening around me, within me, to me. Nah, not so much to me, but just around me. Um, and I really needed to buckle down and really stand my ground for myself, for others, for my artists. Um, and yeah, and I feel like this chapter also was just whacking me, clocking me one after the other. I was like, God damn, like she's explaining a lot of the things that I struggled with as an artist, um, struggling with as an artist, and really addressed super interesting things, like even addressed being an artist in academia, which, right out of high school, I went straight to college to be an artist. And it's funny how extremely contradictory that idea is. Like, if you want to be an artist, go to school. And she even addresses that, which I felt like was really important for me because I think a lot of my ideas around my own strength definitely stemmed from my experiences with academia. Um, and she really talks about, she connects academia and how the idea of an artist and academia conflict, because as an artist, art is emotional. And I think that I've always approached art in this really intellectual way. Um, And I feel like that also is connected to the blockages I have as a performer, because I'm so intellectual about anything, everything. And I'm coming to the realization that I have been intellectualizing my feelings for forever. Every time I have a negative feeling, I have to tell myself a very realistic narrative around those feelings so I can just understand them and then move on. And like, I don't always allow my feelings to be feelings because it could just feel so irrational. And I don't like feeling irrational because that makes me feel, I don't know, out of control. But I'm learning, especially within this week, what actually sitting with my feelings means for me and what that actually looks like and what that practice is. And I feel like I've definitely mentioned this before, but going the goal was to go to college for acting, and I auditioned for one school, didn't get in, or like, I to be honest, I didn't even audition for any acting schools really. I auditioned for the acting program at the school that I was already in, which is whatever. Like, you're already at the school and you already know the teacher is, you're already in the room. Um but yeah, like, that one moment of me not having like that dreamer idea as an actor come true was just really like, it rocked me to my core. And I feel like I was like licking that wound throughout my entire college experience. And she even gets into that too. She talks about all of that good stuff, like gains disguised as losses. So like, I know people who went through the acting program at my school who are currently not acting. I'm probably doing more performance work than some people I know with an actual theater degree. So, in that moment, 19-year-old, 20-year-old me was definitely like devastated. But now I'm like, oh, like, that wasn't the ticket to what I thought I wanted. Um, and I feel like college itself was a whole, it, that was a whole circus in itself, because yes, colleges are definitely selling something, especially like liberal arts colleges are just selling ideas and dreams to kids without actually giving them, I feel like, concrete tools to help them push through. And honestly, if I think about it, I really thought college would be more like this book. Like, I thought college was going to be like, this is how you be an artist. Like, like, whatever. But it wasn't. It was more intellectual, like she talks about in the book. Checking my time. A quote: "For an artist to become overly cerebral is to become crippled." And whacked me because I, as like a writer and a filmmaker, want my ideas and execution to come out in a extremely thoughtful way. Like, I want people to be like, okay, you put thought into this. um and I think I was confusing that with sort of the essence of art, the emotion of art. um and I think even back when I was really exploring myself as an actor, I was like yeah, like, I was very disconnected from my emotions. So I think that me being an actor at that time was getting really fuzzy for me because it went from, being, in plays in high school where like you're doing Shakespeare, you're doing things and people are expecting you to kind of like perform. But when you get into acting as a craft, it's so much more instinctual and you need to be comfortable with your emotional instincts. Ciao. I don't, good stuff. Good stuff. Um and she really addresses a lot of interesting things that for me were like hitting me on the head. Um like I feel like a few years ago that she says she describes like a version of a blocked artist. Like it feels like you're stuck within shouting distance of your dreams. And I felt that too when I, started making my own first film independently with my own money, um, during the pandemic. And when I got to post, I became so self conscious of everything I did, everything I wrote, everything. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, who am I? Why would I make this? This is embarrassing. I had like a rap song, a music video. I had like a very radically queer, suggestive video with my friend. And like, I had those things actually didn't make the cut. But I had things that I felt so tender about people seeing. And I just sort of like scrapped it and it turned into another wound. Um, and she really does also talk about that. Um, yeah, when hit by a loss, ask the right question. What's next? Instead of why me? Um, and it's kind of tricky because these are things that I did to myself. Oh, wait, she talks about that too. IDK, I'm all over the place. IDK, my BFF Jill. Um, yes, okay, here we go. I was experiencing a lot of losses as an artist. I felt like even though I was confident, I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. And it was really confusing me because I knew that I could do it. I knew that I was talented. I felt like I knew that. But a lot of the experiences that I was having with other artists, with fellow artists, were just so like empty. Like I would, work for free and then people treat you wrong. And then you're like, what the frick? Like, why is it like this? Or you work with people and then they see so much more success than you. And then you're like, wait, what? Um, and I do think this chapter really gets into the nitty gritty. So things I wrote down was make peace with the years lost, um, from artistic wounding, mourn the years of crippling silence and regret. A mixture of my words and I think her words. Um, but I know that's what I've been doing ever since I started this course was just mourning all those years I had lost to just being in shouting distance of my dreams of allowing my heart to harden because I kept taking losses versus losses as gains disguised as losses. Um, I wrote strength is processing pain so you can release it and move unbound. Um, I think pain definitely has a way of holding us back from just moving forward. I think in the text she says, um, blocked artists can get ad- addicted to anxiety. So, like, basically, what she described in this chapter is what happened to me. So, get this: loss, 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 right? I'm experiencing artistic losses. And, because of that, I'm like, okay, let's escape. Let's do other things. Um, and then eventually, your heart hardens, and you still have dreams about you as an artist. You're still like, wow, like I could be an artist, I could be this. I'm still having like these big ideas that like were on my heart, but then when I think about these big ideas, I'm like just stricken with fear and anxiety. I'm like, oh my god, like I just scrapped my first short film that I've ever done on my own. But I want to make, studio films and blockbusters and international projects, and like those ideas would come to me and I would just get so stricken with panic. And it's easy to just like, the positive side of that is like daydreaming. I was a big daydreamer. And I think at that time, my daydreaming was just giving me like anxiety. I was like, fuck, I can't daydream anymore because I've experienced so much artistic loss and wounding. Um, and then you just get addicted to that cycle. And instead of actually making small moves, small steps, making a plan to work towards your actual dream, you're just stuck in this cycle of anxiety. And that is certainly 100% what I've been experiencing. And I think that this week forced me to put pen to paper. I feel like a year ago, literally a year ago, I would felt like I was just like in a different place emotionally, intellectually, physically. Like I was not feeling it a year ago. I'll just say that. And I took myself to Puerto Rico, and I wanted to like rewrite my daily affirmations, and for some reason I couldn't do it while I was here in New York, and I had to go to Puerto Rico and go to the beach and sit and meditate and do all these things just to get like a few paragraphs for my daily affirmations. And I was like, wow, like this is really hard to get out of me. And I realized that I had been burying, yes girl, her food just went off, she's been hungry. I've been burying my artist under my just like anxiety, but not even like my artist in general, but specifically my my writer. I was still in my producer and I started to do music, but I was burying my writer, my intellectual, emotional writer, my filmmaker, that part of me. I was burying that. So I went to Puerto Rico a year ago to finally just like get to the bottom of what I have been avoiding for so long. And it's interesting because in relation to this process, everything that I was trying to do in like the 5, 6 days I was in Puerto Rico by myself, I'm doing now here meticulously. And she has a concept in this chapter called filling the form. Filling the form, doing the small steps that you need to do daily to achieve your art. And it's funny because it's not like I didn't know that, but like I didn't know that. And like you to know it, you got to do it. And I feel like every day I would wake up and think about doing it and not actually do it. And find so many ways to procrastinate. I'll do it later. Artistic avoidance through the denial of process. Oh, it will take so long. So, I was outsourcing to maybe like quicker art forms, which I feel like brought me to DJing because, the music is made already. You just need to learn the mechanisms and you're good. um, you're good for something. I wouldn't say you're good. You good for something. um, and she really gets to the nitty gritty of like what we as artists are even looking for when we are creating. And I think getting clarity for myself on um through through these assignments, the assignments this week that really gave me clarity were the 5-year plan assignment. So she's gonna ask you, hey, what are your dreams? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? 4, 3, 2, 1. What can you do now to support that dream? What can you do next week to support that dream? What can you do next month to support that dream? And it really, I feel like, is outlining the work for me. And I feel like I needed that part. Like, there's like, I have task paralysis real bad. Like, going from task to task is super hard for me. I feel like that's my divergency. And I just needed that part to be laid out. I think something just clicked for me. It's for some people this may not even be like it's so funny. I don't know. I think it's just so funny. But for me it was really like I hate thinking about all the small steps I need to take to get somewhere because it's overwhelming. But breaking it down and taking it day by day and week by week is actually so helpful. And I know that's like the fucking blanket advice that, people get, but it's super true and you need to write it out. Um, and then that really helped me because it talked about, the book talked about prioritizing your task. And like, I don't know why I'm like this, but I'll just try to attack my day raw and I'll be like, okay, like I'll get my work done and then I'll do this and I'll do that. And it's like, no, like I need a schedule now because not only do I work and make money with my art, I also have really big ideas and big dreams that I want to execute in my art that no one wants to pay me for yet. And that is going to take organization and execution. And I need to lay out my task and I need to prioritize them. Okay. And I need to make sure that I hit my marks. And I feel like that's going to really help me get out of this task paralysis because I will be even more excited to go through all my emails, knowing that after I get to go through all my emails, I get to work on my script versus like haphazardly feeling like I will just wake up one morning and be like, time to work on my script. Like sometimes work is very exciting that way. And like you don't even need a guide to like tell you to put pen to paper. But then most of the times it's not because there's so many distractions. And you got to get your priorities straight. You got to have your plan and your priorities if you're going to fight the distractions and fight the losses. Okay. Because I'm pretty sure I think I was talking about submitting to a film festival in my earlier videos. And did I get in? I ain't get in. It's okay though. I wanted to just do that for me. Um, and someone there watched it, so that's really cool. I'm just thinking about, yeah, the people that I think I looked at it and I had like 8 views, and I was like, yay, people watched it. Um, and they were so sweet. I submitted to the Black Star Film Festival, and they are so sweet when they basically reject you. They're like, "Hey, we know you didn't get in, and we know y'all worked hard, but please do not stop." And that made me feel so warm inside. It was a very long and well written message too. And it really felt like a heartfelt message sent to every single filmmaker who wanted to be a part of that amazing festival. um and that is connected to this week because basically what they said, they were like, hey, have the strength to continue. We know this isn't what you want to hear. We know this isn't a part of the fantasy, but have the strength to continue. And thank you, Black Star, for that. Um, and focusing on the process because, yeah, focusing on the process, prioritizing your tasks, making a plan. It's kind of the fun part. Like when I was in college, I would get so excited about making like my 4-year plan. I would get just so excited about planning out, the next 4 years of my life. And now it's a little like, ooh, like I don't really want to get into it. But I found excitement again through this process of like planning out the years of my life and what the ideal is. And I think that's important to maintain your strength so you know why you're doing things. I need to know why I'm doing something. I thought I could operate on like autopilot right now, but no, I can't. I'm pretty much freelance, full time, work from home, like everything you could think of. And I need to know why I'm doing things because every second counts. Because trust me, if I'm doing something, there's something else that I should be doing. And I don't know. That feels like it's going to go on forever until I catch up. Um, geez. So, like, it was a tough week. I will say it was a tough week. But it was the week that I needed to really understand what part of the process of me as an artist was not going through. And this video is already too long. Oh, and I think another great thing about this was learning that as an artist, we just love to create. We love the process of creating. And that's why beginning is so much fun. She talks about being a beginner and how beginners excel because they explore. And that's how I felt when I started DJing. I was like, this is really popping off for me. Not in a way that like film or acting or anything has. And I thought it was because, like I was doing a solo art form, like an art form that just really required me, and my other art forms required, the cooperation of other people. But really, I was just so unafraid to explore. And I was just doing it for me when I started DJing. It really was for me. Um, and I was happy that I was connecting with people in the process. And just remembering to carry that explorative spirit with you when you create. Niku, I'm talking to you, Niku. Explore. That's where success is. Um, that's where completion is. And that's where artists are like always finding the most fun. That's why it's always fun to like start something new and then like never finish it. But I'm tired of the never finishing part. So that's why we're doing this damn book. All right. Already too long. Thank you.